الأفعال المبنيات the fixed construction verbs. أهلا بكم إلى درس اليوم في برنامج تكلم العربية مع أوباكيت على قناة أوباكيت لينك. اليوم بإذن الله تعالى نتكلم عن الأفعال المبنيات. You're all welcome to this program Speak Arabic with Oba Today, inshallah, we are going to discuss the fixed construction verbs in Arabic language. Discussion. In Arabic language, the end of a word can remain the same or fixed if met some conditions or governed by some governors in a sentence, while it can also change in some other condition if preceded by certain particles. However, verbs in Arabic language are expected to be fixed-ended because that is the origin for every verb. The fixed condition in verbs means that the end of the verb remains the same without being changed despite being used in different positions in the sentence. The past and the command tenses are fixed-ended in their construction while met with certain conditions, while the present tense is not. Now, let us shed more light on the two types of verbs that are fixed-ended construction. They are the past and command tenses. The past tense فعل الماضي. The past tense are actions that are done in the past. In Arabic language, it is referred to as فعل الماضي. This past tense is always fixed at the end if met some conditions or if controlled by some particles or governed by some governors. The past tense can be fixed on the following four signs. Number 1, يبدأ على الفتح can be fixed on al-fatha. Number 2, يبدأ على السكون can be fixed on السكون. Number 3, يبنى على الضمة can be fixed on الضمة. Number 4, يبنى على حذف حرف العلة can be fixed on the removal of 6 alphabets. Number 1, يبدأ على الفتح can be fixed on al-fatha. The past tense in Arabic language can be fixed on al-fatha in the following conditions. If nothing is attached to it at the end, examples are kataba, jalasa, fataha, raja'a, and so on. You see that all these verbs have nothing attached to the end. For example, kataba has nothing attached to the end and jalasa has nothing attached to the end, so they all take fatha. A feminine ta on tanis is attached to it at the end. Examples are jalasat, fatahat, dakhalat, raja'at, and so on. You see that the verb jalasat, all of these verbs have ta tanis attached to the end. For example, jalasat has ta tanis attached to its sin, which is the end of jalasat. Fatahat has ta tanis attached to its ha, and so on. So they all take fatha. If the dual alif alifun ithnain is attached to it at the end, examples are jalasa, fataha, raja'a, dakhala, and so on. See that all of the verbs here have aliful ithnain, the dual alif, attached to its end. For example, jalasa has alif attached to its sin, which is the end of jalasa, and fataha has dual alif attached to its end, etc., which makes them all to take fatha. If nasb pronoun, damir nasb, is attached to it at the end, examples are darabani, darabahu, darabaka, darabana, and so on. You see that all of these verbs have nasb pronoun attached to the end. Example, darabahu has ha attached to the end, darabaka has ka attached to the end, darabana has nun attached to the end, darabani, it has ya attached to its end. All of these are nasb pronouns, so all of these verbs, they take a fatha at their ends. If all these aforementioned conditions are met, then the past tense takes only al-fatha sign at the end. Number 2, yubna ala sukun, fixed on a sukun sign. The past tense can be fixed on a sukun sign in the following conditions. When subjunctive ta al-fa'il is attached to it at the end, examples are jalastu, jalasta, jalasti, jalastum, and so on. See that all of these verbs have ta'ul fa'il attached to their end. For example, jalastu has tu attached to the end, jalasta has ta attached to the end, and so on. So they all take the sukun. What is the subjective noun now الفاعل is attached to it at the end. Examples are فتحنا, كتبنا, ضربنا, فهمنا, and so on. That all of these verbs have na الفاعل attached to the end. For example, فتحنا has na attached to the end, كتبنا has na attached to the end, etc. So they all take a sukun. One plural feminine noun niswa is attached to it at the end. Examples are كتبنا, جلسنا, فتحنا, دخلنا, and so on. So that all of these verbs have noon niswa attached to their end. For example, كتبنا, it has na, noon niswa attached to the end. جلسنا has noon niswa attached to the end, etc. So they all take sukun. Number 3, يبنى على الضمة, fixed on a dhamma. The past tense is fixed on a dhamma sign in the following conditions. When the plural masculine wow jama'a is attached to it at the end. Examples are katabu, jalasu, fatahu, dakhalu, and so on. All of these verbs have wow jama'a attached to the end. For example, katabu has wow jama'a attached to the end, jalasu has wow jama'a attached to the end, etc. So they all take the dhamma. The command tense fi'lul amr. The command tense in Arabic language is a request action by the speaker to the second person, requesting from him or her to carry out a specific task. This command tense is always fixed in construction and on 4 particular conditions. These conditions are as follows. Number 1, yubna ala sukun, fixed on a sukun. When feminine plural noun niswa is attached to it. Examples are uktubna, ukhrujna, ishrahna, iftahna, and so on. See that all of these verbs have noon niswa attached to their end. For example, tubna has noon niswa attached to its end, khurujna has noon niswa attached to its end, and so on. So they all take a sukun. If it has a sound end, sahih al-akhir, nothing is attached to it at the end. Examples are iftah, isma, ijlis, udkhul, and so on. See that all of these verbs have nothing attached to the end. For example, iftah has nothing attached to the end, isma has nothing attached to the end, and so on. So they all take a sukun. When nasb pronoun damir or nasb is attached to its end, examples are akrim, akrimni, akrimhu, akrimha, akrimhum, and so on. See that all of these verbs, they have damir and nasb attached to the end. For example, akrimhu has ha attached to the end, akrimha has ha attached to the end, and so on. So they are all takes a sukun at their ends. Number 2, yubda ala al-fath, fixed on al-fatha sign. Always fixed on al-fatha sign in the following conditions. When noon at-tawkid is attached to its end. Examples are uktubanna, iftahanna, ukhrujanna, isma'anna, and so on. As you could see, all of these verbs have noon at-tawkid attached to their end. Uktubanna, iftahanna, have noon tawkid attached to their end, and so on. So they all take al-fatha. Number 3, yubna ala hasfi harf al-illa, fixed on the removal of Sikh alphabet. This happens in the following conditions. If the verb ends with a Sikh alphabet and nothing is attached to that end. Examples are ud'u, is'a, irmi, ittaqi, and so on. As you can see, all of these verbs, they originally ended with Sikh alphabet, but when they became command tense, their Sikh alphabet was removed. Example, ud'u originally had a waw at its end, waw madi at its end, is'a originally have alif madi at its end, and so on. So ud'u takes dhamma, and is'a takes dhamma, takes al-fatha, and so on. If nasb pronoun damir nasb is attached to it at the end, examples are ihdina, ihdihim, ihdiha, ihdini, and so on. As you can see, damir and nasb are attached to their end. For example, ihdina, ihdihim, they have damir and nasb attached to their ends, so they are mabniyu ala hasfi harf al-illa. Number 4, fixed on the removal of noon, hasfun noon, in the following conditions. If the dual alif al-ithnain is attached to its end. Examples are idhaba, iftaha, khruja, isma'a, and so on. You can see all of these verbs, they originally have noon at their end, but that noon was removed because they were command tense. For example, اذهب originally had noon at its end, افتح originally had noon at its end, and so on. So they are all مبني على حذف النون. If the masculine plural واو جماعة is attached to it, and examples are كلوا, اشربوا, اسمعوا, افتحوا, and so on. كلوا, all of these verbs originally had noon at their end, but that noon was removed because they were command tense. Example, كلوا originally had noon at its end, but that noon was removed. اشربوا originally had noon at its end, and that noon was removed, and so on. So they are مبني على حذف النون. If a second person feminine يا مخاطبة is attached to its end, examples are اسجدي, افتحي, اسمعي, ادخلي, and so on. As you can see, feminine second person feminine is attached to their end. And the second person feminine originally had noon at its end, but it was removed. For example, اسجدي originally had noon at its end, but that noon was removed. افتحي originally had noon at its end, but that noon was removed, etc. So they are مبني على حذف النون. Hope you enjoy our class for today. Join us in the next class for another episode of Speak Arabic with Obakit on Obakit Link TV here. شكرا على المشاهدة. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to our channel Obakit Link TV on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. To read more Arabic lessons, visit our website www.obatutor.com, and for learning coding and programming languages, subscribe to Obatech and Obacode on Oba Decoder's YouTube channel. Thank you all for your support.